Hari Om. Welcome back to our continuing study of Shrimad Bhagawad Geetha, chapter 2. We are in Shloka 28. Poojya Swamiji says, introducing the next verse, Shankara agreed with Krishna that Atma is not easily understood. Arjuna is not the only one who laments. He is not the only person subject to sorrow. Sorrow is universal. Sorrow is universal. Poojya Swamiji now helps us to look at the significance of Shankara's commentary. We must keep in mind that Poojya Swamiji's Gita home study is based entirely on Adi Shankaracharya's Gita Bhashyam. Because we will be drawing on Shankara's commentary throughout our study of the Gita, a brief explanation on the place that this commentary holds in the teaching tradition is in order here. The word bhashya, refers to a commentary of an original work. The word bhashya refers to a commentary of an original work. The Gita is an original work, and therefore Shankara's commentary of it is a bhashya. Gita being an original work, Shankara's commentary of it is a bhashya. For a work to be original in our context, it must have the status of a scripture, Shruti, meaning the Upanishads. This is an interesting aside topic that Poojya Swamiji is discussing. For a work to be original in our context, it must have the stature of a scripture, Shruti, meaning the Upanishads. If the Gita did not have the status of Shruti, any commentary of it would be called only a Vyakhyana. If the Gita did not have the status of a Shruti, any commentary of it would be called only a Vyakhyana. But Shankara's commentary is not a Vyakhyana. It is a Bhashya because the Gita has the status of the original work. Any commentary on the Upanishads, of course, is a Bhashya because the Upanishads are Shruti, providing what has been written is something more than the simple meaning of the verses. A Bhashya is something more than the simple meaning of the verses. Provide something more. A commentary becomes a bhashya when it gives a meaning and also defends the meaning that is given. A person who has written a bhashya is called a bhashyakara. Tikakara refers to a person who has written tika, explanatory notes for a bhashya. A person who has written a bhashya is called bhashyakara. Bhashya is written on an original work like the Upanishads, the Gita, the Brahma Sutras. A Tikakara refers to a person who has written Tika, explanatory notes for a Bhashya. These notes serve to introduce the topic by explaining the sentences of the Bhashya or a particular word in a sentence. A Tika is not an independent work because it follows the Bhashya line by line, sentence by sentence. There is also another type of work called Vartika, Vartika, which is an independent exposition in verse form on the Bhashya itself. Not on the original. So, the Tika and the Vartika are expositions on the Bhashya and not on the original work. A Vartika is not a Tika because it either goes beyond the Bhashya or it is a further explanation of the Bhashya. We are going through some technical portions worth going through, very interesting to go through them. A Vartika is not a Tika because it either goes beyond the Bhashya or it is a further explanation of the Bhashya. Whereas the Tika is not an independent work because it follows the Bhashya line by line, sentence by sentence. The person who writes a Vartika is called a Vartikakara. There is a Sampradaya tradition in which certain people are recognized according to these categories. In Vedanta, by Vartikakara, for instance, we mean Sureshwara. Sureshwaracharya, the oldest of Bhashyakara's four disciples. Again, when we say Bhashyakara, we mean Shankara. Patanjali is known as Mahabhashyakara. The Mahabhashya being the commentary on the sutras of Panini on grammar, Vyakarana Sutras. Patanjali is known as Mahabhashyakara, the Mahabhashya being the commentary on the sutras of Panini on grammar, Vyakarana Sutras. Tikakara generally refers in this tradition to Anandagiri, who wrote a Tika for all of Shankara's commentaries. There are many Tikakaras. Anyone who comments upon the Bhashya, sentence after sentence, as a traditional teacher does, becomes a Tikakara. Knowing then that the words Bhashyakara and Bhashya refer to Shankara and Shankara's commentaries respectively, we can proceed, says Poojya Swamiji. We are now entering another interesting shloka of chapter 2, sloka number 29, which I will read, and then we will look at the word to word meaning, the running meaning, and then the commentary. Verse or shloka number 29. Atma is a wonder all the way. The shloka goes like this. Ascharyavat pashyati kaschidенам. Ascharyavat vadati tathaiva chanyah. Ascharyavat chainamanya shrunoti. Shrutvaapyenam vedana chaiva kaschit. We must know, we all know that the Gita is an amritam that is extracted from the Upanishads. And here is a verse that Krishna picks from the Kathopanishad. Krishna picks a number of verses from Kathopanishad. This is one of them. Na jayate mriyate va kadachit is another one. And many other beautiful shlokas. So let us look at the word to word meaning of the shloka. Kaschit, someone, enam, this self, ascharyavat, as a wonder, pashyati, looks upon. Tatha, similarly, eva, indeed, cha, and anyaha, another, ascharyavat, as a wonder, vadati, speaks. Anyahacha, and yet another, enam, this, ascharyavat, as a wonder, shrunoti, hears. Kaschit is someone, cha, and shrutva api, even after hearing enam, this, na veda, does not understand eva, at all. The Atma is a wonder all through, says Poojya Swamiji. Here's the running meaning. One looks upon the self as a wonder. Similarly, another speaks of it as a wonder, and another hears it as a wonder. Still another, even after hearing about this self, does not understand it at all. One looks upon the self as a wonder, yet another speaks of it as a wonder, and a third hears it as a wonder. And there is a fourth, even after hearing about this self, does not understand it one bit. Shankara begins his bhashya on this verse by saying that Atma, under discussion, Prakrita Atma, is not easy to understand. Durvigneya, not easy to understand, Durvigneya. Prakrita is a technical term meaning the topic under discussion, which is Atma over here. Although one has to recognize Atma as Brahman, it is not easy, and therefore not everyone comprehends it. The cause for this bhranti, confusion, between Atma and Anatma being sadharana, universal, everyone is to be sympathized with. No one is an exception. No one is an exception. Arjuna was not the only one lamenting his lot. Knowing this makes us feel that we are in good company. Modern group therapy does the same thing. You may start off thinking that you are the only one with a particular problem. But when you participate in group therapy, you discover that everyone is undergoing the same experience. Then you realize you are not alone. There are many people who have the same problem for which there is a cause. In the beginning, then there is validation, which is a good thing. Here too, Arjuna was given a boost. It was as though Krishna was saying, "You are not the only one lamenting, Arjuna. Everyone has the same problem because ignorance is common to all." It is not the personal problem of any one person. Ignorance of Atma is common to all and remains so because Atma is not easily understood. This verse explains why Atma is so difficult to understand. I remember an episode that Swami Paramarthananda quoted about Swami Chinmayananda. It was the time when Swami Chinmayananda was beginning to teach Shrimad Bhagawad Geetha, the Upanishads, and other Prakarana Granthas in public. And Swami Chinmayananda was asked, says Swami Paramarthananda. In fact, he was told, "You are teaching all these secret sciences in public. The Gita and Upanishads are not to be are top secret and are not to be shared in public the way you're doing it." For which Swami Chinmayananda was to have said, "Yes, what you're saying is right. These are secret teachings, within quote. Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam, no doubt. But they will remain secret even if I teach them in public," said Swami Chinmayananda. This is the exact message that is being conveyed in this important and significant shloka number 29. We will try to understand the import of this shloka Through the teachings of Poojya Swamiji, assisted by Shankara Bhashyam, backed by Lord Krishna, in the upcoming capsules, and take our study forward from there on. Until then, Hari Om. ॐ दुर्जनः सज्जनो भूयात् सज्जनः शान्तिमाप्नुयात् शान्तो मुच्येत बन्धेभ्यः मुक्तश्चान्यान् विमोचयेत् सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ